Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. It's a new year and I am back in the saddle after my reconstruction surgery on my ACL. Today we're going to be reviewing the 2021 Pivot Switchblade. I'm on the Pro XT XTR build. Comes with a nice set of DT Swiss aluminum wheels, XT XTR drivetrain, and a XT 4-pod brakes. Really good spec. Price is about $6,900. About $900, but I'll leave a link in the description below so you get the latest pricing and the geometry figures and all that good stuff. Yeah, but I have made a couple changes to the bike. Testing out the new, not new, but the Eagle Axis drivetrain you see there, and the Reverb Axis wireless dropper post. I've been riding it for a couple months now and feeling really good. But stay tuned for that review. It'll be coming out soon. I'm on a size medium Switchblade, and we'll quickly talk about the geometry and how it fits my 5'10" height. Usually I ride a size large bike if you follow the channel, and the main reason why I ride a size large bike is because of the top tube. With these newer bikes coming out with steep seat tube angles, the top tube length is like just getting shorter and shorter, which basically when you're pedaling, stay seated, the bars are like right in your lap. So I have to go to size large for most bikes. And that's the main reason why I get large frames. And also depending on what discipline of riding I'm doing. If I'm getting a big enduro bike like the Mega Tire, I'm gonna get a size large because I just want that large or that big reach number. But Pivot has nailed the geometry on this bike for a mid-travel 29er. Top tube number is 620 millimeters is like the sweet spot for me. Not too slack of a seat tube angle. I think it's perfect in the low position. It's at 75.5, which I've been running the Switchblade in for all the riding I've been doing on it. And a 66-degree head tube angle. Nice short chainstay, 431 millimeters. So bike is super nimble and agile. It's just a good looking frame, really stout, really tough. Let's start this climb, see how the old Switchblade gets up the hill. All right, so first thing you notice when pedaling through tech is the traction on this bike is just unreal. Whatever magic Pivot and Fox are working on that rear shock, the DPX2, it's so supple off the top, but plenty of support through the mid-stroke, and then ramps up really nicely at the end. Like most DW Link bikes, like my old Ibis Ripley, it's just pedal efficiency is very high. No need to reach down and change the compression on the shock. But when I look down, the suspension is really active. It's moving like almost like a horse link bike, but definitely don't bog down like one. My only complaint how this bike climbs is when it gets really steep. The front end does wonder a little bit, having those super short chainstays. The bike kind of feels more rear biased, so you really have to get out of the saddle a little bit and weigh the front end down. But it's a good thing that the bike pedals really nicely out of the saddle too. Whew, out of shape. Let's see how Mo's running. Little flow and jumps. Oh, a little muddy. Super easy to jump. Oh, I lost some speed. A little muddy today. I think I'll be hitting the ramp. Oh yeah, a little slaboggy. All right, nice loam trails. Little mini drop right here. Ooh, ooh. Oh, it's running slick today. Bigger drop off to the right, but don't know if my leg can handle that today. Really fun to punch up rocks like this and go down. You know, the Switchblade is designed in Phoenix, Arizona, and they ride South Mountain a ton, where you're doing that a lot is getting up big boulders and down them. So makes sense I would be good at that kind of stuff. Yo. All right. Whoa. This thing's just so poppy. I know I say that a lot about bikes, but man, this thing just really easy to get off the ground. Feels like a 25-pound bike. Short chain stay, just handling all these tight turns with ease. Let's let it go. Woo! So fun, so easy to ride, so intuitive. Yeah. There we go, nice little steep section, high speed. Woo. God, you just feel like you just want to hop on this thing. Oh man, it's getting rutted out. A lot of people are riding it. A little step down. Oh, just perfect. Holds on to the lines. Got the DHR2s front and back. Usually comes with DHF on the front, DHR2 in the back, but really love having the DHR2s in winter conditions. Great grip and still fast rolling. Got a little chatter. Oh, this is where it feels really good. Whew. The legs are getting tired. Oh, another step down. Whoa! Oh, overshot that. Got the front end too high. I'm really digging the Switchblade's geometry. Not too slack, not too steep of a seat tube angle. It's just like the Goldilocks bike, just right. Really shines though is like this tight, flowy single track, which you've seen in probably most of my bike reviews. It's just so easy to get around corners. Just hauls ass. And they got these little jumps you gotta kind of pop over. Really good at that. Oh, dirt's good today. DHR2 tires hooking up. Oh, it's so quiet. Only noise being made by my water bottle cleaning against the frame. Whew. Legs are getting pumped up. So nice to pump. Oh man. Yo. It's a fun section.
All right guys, welcome to the bike basement. Let's talk about how this 2021 Pivot Switchblade performed on the trail. I'm glad I got to ride this Pivot while my leg is recovering, my knee was recovering. So I just stayed on a lot of flat, flowy, single track, no really technical terrain, and the bike doesn't feel like it's too much to pedal around. It does weigh, I checked my video, I thought it weighed 32 pounds. It actually does weigh 33 pounds, but how they engineered the bike and the pedaling platform on it, it feels so much lighter on the trail. So good job, Pivot. So let's talk about how this bike climbs. It is one of the best climbing bikes, if not the best climbing bike I've ever ridden, with its geometry not too extreme. It has a roomier top tube length of about 620 millimeters, and with its size medium frame, it just feels perfect for me. I mean, usually I have to size up to a large, 5'10" in between sizes, but I usually go to the large just to get a roomier top tube. For my local trails, I don't need a bike with a lot of reach. I need something that has a roomier top tube because I pedal seated a lot, and this one has it. And also it's just comfortable because the seat tube angle is just perfect. It's not too steep, not too slack, 75.5 in the low position, 76 degrees in the high position. So it's dialed. So let's talk about how the suspension performs on the climbs. When you're going through any kind of technical terrain, this thing just hooks up. Plenty of traction. That tune Pivot did with the with Fox suspension is just dialed. That DPX2 feels like a coil, super supple off the top, and then it ramps up pretty hard if you hit a drop. It's hard to bottom out this bike. I haven't done it yet. I mean, I'm not doing the biggest drops right now because of my knee, but basically use most of the travel. I think it's kind of geared towards like my size rider, 170 pounds, and a semi-aggressive rider. If you're probably a lighter rider than me, you're probably gonna have to change the token in the shock just so you can use the full travel. This bike really shines. It's just an everyday trails, like nothing too steep, nothing too crazy. You know, if you have tight, really single track, just it could be flat, smooth, or even technical. This bike handles it all really well because of the geometry it has. If you're living out west with some really steep trails and super rocky, probably go with a more aggressive bike like an enduro bike like the Firebird they offer, or like a Mega Tower or whatever. But this bike's designed just for that everyday rider, I believe. So on the descents, it feels pretty good. I mean, I didn't do anything too gnarly in the videos you see, and I'm probably not gonna ride anything too crazy for a little while just to take it easy on my knee. But it's pretty stable once it even gets up to 26, 27 miles an hour. It didn't feel twitchy at all, even with the short back end. Really easy to maneuver around. Hit a bump or you wanna get airborne, the thing just springs off the ground. Really easy. It's a super poppy bike. And can't say enough about it. I really like it. I like every bike, but I really like this one. I know a lot of you guys are gonna ask, how does this compare to other mid-travel 29ers? So we'll talk about the high tower real quick. The high tower feels more capable. It's got a slacker head tube angle, steeper seat tube angle, and it, you know, actually the top tube's smaller. It's about the same length bike, but just how it's set up, it feels like it's just a more capable bike. Both pedal really well, so you're splitting hairs here, but I probably prefer the Switchblade on my single track, but if I lived out west with a little steeper descents, I'd probably go with the high tower. How's it compare to the Fazzari Delano Peak I just rode? Pedal's a lot better, but the Delano has a little bit more traction. You know, it's a horse-link design suspension, so it does hug the ground a little bit better, but overall, the Switchblade has a better pedaling platform, so I'd probably go with that. It's a little bit more efficient. So how's it compared to the new Stump Jumper? The Stump Jumper feels really light and agile, almost XC-ish in a way, which is really good for my local trails also, but this one it's more well-rounded. It can handle a little bit more chunk. Still pedals really well, if not better than the Stump Jumper, but it does weigh quite a bit more, so it's a trade-off. If you want a light kind of XC-ish pedaling platform, probably go with the Stump Jumper. If you want a more capable bike, go with the Switchblade. The only gripes I have with the Switchblade are the press fit bottom bracket. I wish they would have done a threaded bottom bracket. I mean, the bike already weighs almost 33 pounds, so why not just throw a threaded BB in there? Also, the Super Boost spacing's a little annoying. You know, I have a couple bikes. I'd like to maybe switch wheels around from one to another, and you can't really with this one. It's got the 157, I believe, boost super spacing, whatever the hell it's called, so it's a little annoying there. But it allows them to tuck that back wheel in there and keep the chain stays super short for that agile feeling. Also, with the Super Boost, your calves kind of chafe the chain stays. I mean, it's not like it's rubbing any raw, but it's just something you notice. No big deal. I'll see you on the next one. Have a happy new year. It's good to be back. Peace.